Kindy Rockstars. Prepare for a treat, let's meet and greet some bands and singers that are super sweet, making music that's fun for boys and girls. Help them learn about this great big world. Fun for the family, yes it's true, your kids will love it and you will too. Clap and dance and sing aloud, become a part of the Kindy crowd. These songs will make you move your feet and give your ears a great big treat. So settle in, grab your guitars, and let's get to know our Kindy rock stars. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kindy Rockstars. This is the show that gives you the stories behind the songs from some of the best bands and singers that are making fun, informative, educational, catchy, and occasionally silly songs for children and families. I'm your host, Patrick Adams, and each episode of Kindy Rockstars will feature an artist and a featured song. So let's get to this week's show. With me today is Katie Dwyer of Katie Dwyer Music. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into Kindy music.
Sure. Well, gosh, man, when to even start that story? I think I really, truly got into Kindy music when I had my own daughter, Hazel. That being said, I have worked with children my entire adult life. When I was in college, I did a lot of performing on stage. I did a lot of dancing, a lot of singing. I decided that I was going to be a big Broadway star. I moved to the big city and just, hit it big. And so I was really quick to connect with a family who needed a nanny out in Westchester. So I started nannying for this family. At the time, I was going into the city on the weekends whenever I could, dancing here and there. I did some choreography for some different dance companies, but really just always stayed kind of in a job where I was working and dealing with children. So I've always really been passionate to be around kids. The funny thing is now a lot of the kids that I took care of, and at this point, I think I've probably nannied 15 to 16 children. Two just graduated college from musical theater departments at as a Sooner and at Penn State. So very reputable companies. And I have my last kid I took care of up until even my daughter was born is filming the ABC show, The Wonder Years right now. So did a Broadway stint, and I always played the piano and worked with these kids and did music with these guys. So, I do kind of feel this sense of pride and joy that they pursued music and theater in their adult lives and really, truly are all pretty successful. Knock on wood, so that theater gets going again and these guys can get full-on jobs on Broadway again. But when Hazel was born, it's kind of when it switched for me. We put her in some classes in New York City and when she was probably 11 months old, and we really loved the music programs that we put her in. And I had been doing music with her every day, even from when she was 2 months old. I'd sit her up. I would get stuffed animals that she had that she was really fond of, and I would write songs for every single stuffed animal. There was Betsy the Bug. There was Freddie the Yeti. There was Harriet the Hippo. And I would go through and sing all of these, my name is Betsy the Bug. And I'd go through all these songs, and we'd do it every day and every day. And my friends and Kevin would say, these are really catchy little songs. And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, I've played the piano my whole life. I've written music my whole life, but I didn't really think much into it until we took her to a music program. And the more I started talking to moms and parents, the more I started realizing that for those of you listening, if you are not familiar with New York City in terms of what it costs to raise a kid in New York City, this is what I can tell you. New York City will give you some of the most amazing programs, classes you can imagine. They're awesome. That being said, they come at a cost. So everything you do is just really expensive. And as much as we loved the music program she was in, I had this really overwhelming sense that not everyone would be able to afford to put their children into such a program. And, you do that. And then I thought, well, what if somebody wants to do music and they want to see if they will love dance and they want to see if they love guitar? How can these families afford to do all of that and then put them into twos programs? And it just became so overwhelming to me that I went home and I said to my husband, I think I can do this. I think I can create a reputable competing, and by competing, I just mean financially, music program that is clever and fun and smart and educational at a fraction of the cost. And I get a lot today from people like, you can charge way more than you do. And I think I know that, but it's just never been my mission. I really want to provide people music, and I want people to experience that, and I want children to experience that. And so I do have a financial promise. Like, if anyone is legitimately going through any hard times, just talk to me and we will work something out, because I really feel like every kid needs to experience music at a young age in their life, because it's just so vital for their developmental growth. But that's when I sat down and decided, this is what I'm going to do. How can I, though, make my music program different from every other program in the city? And the way that I was going to do that is, I know I'm going to write all the music and it's going to be mine. So I sat down one night. This is a true story. One of the songs that we're going to listen to today, I sat down one night and I thought, okay, I need a theme song. I need a song that I can start every class with. And here's the deal. Every single song we do in my class or on my album has some, and eventually, hopefully, there will be YouTube stuff out that will help parents kind of guide their kids along with what to do in each song. But there is a purpose in terms of what each child is doing in the song. So I thought, I try to incorporate a lot of sign language. So I said, I'm going to write a theme song, and it's really just going to be about music and joy. And I'm going to incorporate two very simple signs that kids can communicate to their parents if they can't speak yet on how to communicate that this is the song I want to hear, or this is the song I really love, or I want to listen to. So I sat down and I wrote a song called Music Makes Me Happy. It is so simple. It is verse, chorus, verse, chorus. When we do one bit, we tap our knees and clap our hands. And at this point in class, every child and parent knows exactly what to do. And from that, it just kind of spiraled into this. I think that night I must have written 6 or 7 songs. Honestly, several of which are on my album, some that will go on future albums, but Zoom Zoom, Music Makes Me Happy, Jungle Safari. I sat down and just started writing. And that's kind of when I realized, I thought, well, my kid is the best person to test this on. So I started singing with Hazel, and I realized, well, these are pretty catchy. And, we're pretty lucky in that a lot of her best friends' parents are either Broadway performers or have been in the industry. And so I started singing some of my songs to those guys, and they were like, Katie, you got to do this. Like, you got to do this. We don't mind singing your songs. We don't mind listening to your songs. So that turned into, okay, I'm going to do it. So I sat down and I wrote enough songs to get me through what I would like a 45-minute music class. I recorded a lot of them on the piano myself. And then we would sing a lot of them a cappella. I did a trial class with a bunch of families as a tester. True story. I did it in the home of the daughter-in-law of, I'm just drawing a blank because here I am doing a podcast, and of course I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, he wrote Wicked and Godspell and all of that. So this is where, I'm sitting in this home and I'm thinking, this person's father-in-law, wrote these amazing Broadway shows. And everybody responded so fabulously that I put it into action. I started a music program. And then I decided, hey, I want to put some real music behind these tunes. So I contacted a friend of mine who played a long time in Nashville and did some different stuff for some different bands, who opened a studio in Arkansas called Haxton Road Studios. We were college friends. Oh, it is the most beautiful new studio you can imagine. And I said, hey, I'd love to record some of my songs because I have a music program. What's it going to cost me? How can we do this? He put me in touch with a lot of his studio musicians who are just out of this world. And originally it started off, I just need the instrumentals. I wanted just accompaniment to get me through these classes. And I learned quickly after starting the classes and having all these families say, hey, do you have lyrics that we can listen to at home? My kid only wants to sing your music. So I thought, okay, we're going to do an album. I'm just going to do an album. And so we started out with the instrumentals. I was so lucky. I had, some of these first classes, I think Jordan Sparks came to a couple of my classes with her son before they moved back to LA after she did a stint in a Broadway show. And I had a lot of Broadway people in my classes. And so I had some pretty fun people in class to kind of demonstrate some of these songs to. I really want families to enjoy music with their children. And I know it's really easy for us as adults to say, but of course we love listening to music. But listen, I'm a mom of a toddler, and there are songs that I love dancing and listening to with her. And there are songs that I've heard probably for several decades that I could hear some new stuff. So I have always, my goal was always just to write fun, catchy songs with great melodies, with a good, solid beat, but it's still super kid friendly and parent friendly. So I made the album happen. I had a lot of support from a lot of people, and that's, I dropped this album, I think last August in the middle of this pandemic. And, it's been doing really well, I think. And there's a big demand. Album number 2 comes out, this next year. And man, I cannot wait for people to hear the second album. I've been singing some of the songs in class, and yeah, it's a doozy. It's just musically, these guys are just so talented, these musicians. So that's kind of my background and how the whole my program in the city came to be, but also how the album kind of just evolved because I realized there was a need because people were asking me for this music. I never stopped writing. My keyboard is just over my shoulder, and I sit down and write a lot. This new album has a song called Dino Stomp and Chomp. And I think I wrote it probably 4 days before I went down to record. I felt really passionate about having a dinosaur song. And I think it's probably going to be one of my biggest hits. So I'm always writing, I'm always creating. And I really work hard to write music that families can enjoy together. So that was how I kind of got into, being and wanting to be a successful children's artist.
So I love the fact that early on you propelled kids onto artistic and musical careers. That's great. And the fact that that number is probably going to be exponentially higher as they came through your class. So you are propelling a new generation of future musicians. So
that would
fantastic.
That would be a dream. That would be awesome.
So how did you find the first album when you completed it? Did you say, okay, I can take a breath of fresh air, or I want to get into my second album now because that was so much fun? So
all of that. I took a deep breath and I said, I did it. This is great. And man, for anybody, and I know so many people who listen to this blog or musicians who have interviewed with you know, there is something so powerful and magical about being in a recording studio, especially when you are in with guys that have toured with gracious knows who and are just so outrageously talented. I mean, these guys will chart my music, watch me play it on the piano. My pianist will watch me play it. He'll chart it in about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we gather around the piano and we sing through it with him on the piano. And then we talk as a group on what vision or we see, how we see the song going. And I kid you not, 5 minutes later, these guys are playing the most insane composition of one of my songs. I mean, the first time I did it, I literally was in the sound booth, like crying, because I was just like, blown away first by their talent, and two, just seeing a dream come to life. So there was a big breath of fresh air, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. Like, here we are. It's up. People can listen to it. But then you do catch the bug, and you realize soon that, like, while it might be new to some of your listeners, I'm hoping you guys, if you're listening today, you'll start listening to music. It might be new to you, but I've been singing it for, 2 years. So I get real, like, I need new material. I need new material. It's not as important for children. And I say that, and I try to tell my parents all the time, like, look, and they all know, because I have enough songs to get me through a couple classes. All the songs I do in class aren't particularly album worthy songs. And that's not that they're not great songs. They're more geared toward classes. And, but I say, like, kids really love feeling like they have control over something. And I don't mean that in a negative way. If we sing one of my songs and they know what's about to happen, they find power in that. And you can sense it. You can see the excitement in their face grow, because they know that we're going to sing X, Y, and Z, and this is the move they're going to do it in, and it really excites them. So I always tell parents, I'm like, listen, guys, after class, I know this might seem like we kind of stick to a structure and we're doing something kind of the same every week, but this is so vital to children because it gives them the opportunity to really focus in and learn something rather than just quickly moving on. So that being said, though, I find that it's just more fun for me and parents to kind of have a bigger repertoire, to kind of go through and mix it up more. Today I had a class in the city, and we did a song that we haven't sung for probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 classes. And I could tell, like, everybody's like, oh, great. We haven't done this song in so long. And I'm slowly kind of introducing new pieces each week. But it's really nice to kind of introduce new music. So the next album will have 22 songs, which is quite bigger than this one. And then, listen, I could put down 28 new songs, if I'm honest. I have that much material, but, we'll save those for another day. And also it's expensive to produce an album. So you have to kind of pick and choose, but you do get the bug. I just basically always want to be recording. And there is something to be said about kind of waiting and letting one kind of set in before you're just pumping something else out. But I am so psyched for this new music because, like anything, as an artist, you also just evolve. And I love my first album. It's my, like, number one baby. But, man, I really love some of the music on this second album. And I love hearing from people that they're singing it when they wake up at 3 a.m. So that certainly makes me very happy to hear. But yeah, I'm ready to get back at it. I'm always trying to pump out music. And it gets tough. Like, you get stuck in these modes where you think, oh man, get out of F, G, C, and B flat. You got it, like, because you can get in a rut where you start thinking like everything's sounding the same. So sometimes you need a mental break. And, this second album, I thought, well, we're going to just hit it up. We're going to do some disco stuff. We're going to do some, so you get into different areas where you try things out and they just work. But I am ready to go. But I'm also excited for people who have not experienced my music to just enjoy this first album as well with their kids. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do it. Are you ready to get into a song?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today's song is called the Waddle Song. All right, Katie, tell us what animal is inspiring this one.
So I wrote this song about a horse, and I'm completely joking. Everybody's going, is she serious? It's called Waddle. Okay, yes. I wrote this song about penguins, obviously. I took my daughter to the Central Park Zoo. It was a very interesting day at the zoo. For anyone who's been, that one of the most popular exhibits at this zoo is the penguin exhibit. And I don't know what was in the air that day. But when we walked into the penguin exhibit, we were with a friend of mine and Hazel's BFF, and there was no one in there but us. And we really just took the time to talk about the penguins to the girls and watch their every move and watch them swim under the water and watch them waddling around. And I looked at my friend who is a big Broadway star, and I looked at him and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home and I'm going to write a song about penguins waddling. And I did just that. I walked home. I wrote that song as soon as we got home from the zoo. I think I probably wrote it, the true story, in about 30 minutes. And it's a very kind of upbeat, maybe old school rock style. And if you can imagine, we do a lot of clapping and a lot of waddling. It takes a lot of stamina to sing this song to children. And I might always pass out after I sing it, but it is really a blast to sing. And it really is fun to kind of create something after, characteristics or mannerisms that you had just seen them, exhibit. So yeah, that's where the inspiration came from, Waddle Waddle.
Excellent. All right. Well, everyone, get ready to clap and waddle along to this song. Here is the Waddle Song by Katie Dwyer Music.
Was at the zoo with the cool penguins yesterday. I watched them dive and swim and slowly watched them play. And when I left, I thought those penguins, they're so neat. I think I like them and waddle with my feet. It is so easy here, just watch what I will do. Put my heels together, then I get ready to groove. My hands beside me and my steps so very small. I'm now a penguin and I'm gonna have a ball. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle like a penguin. Was at the zoo with the cool penguins yesterday. I watched them dive and swim and slowly watched them play. And when I left, I thought those penguins, they're so neat. I think I like them and waddle with my feet. It is so easy here, just watch what I will do. Put my heels together, then I get ready to groove. My hands beside me and my steps so very small. I'm now a penguin and I'm gonna have a ball. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle like a penguin. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle. Waddle, 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 waddle like a penguin.
And that was the Waddle Song. All right, Katie, tell everyone where they can stream and download that song and where they can find you on social media.
You can stream that song on iTunes, Pandora, Spotify. You can buy the album also on iTunes, on Amazon. If you can stream it from somewhere, you go for it. It's there. You can find me on social media, and I would love for you to find me on social media at Katie Dwyer Music. That's it, Katie Dwyer Music, and I will be so happy to have you, join the ride and this journey with me.
Excellent. All right, Katie, thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. It's been a pleasure.